Yes, I'm Joy,
And I'm Laura.
and this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into season 4, episode 16, On the Head of a Pin. I really like this episode.
I don't know how I feel about this episode. I feel like I don't actually resent it, but I think that in my head I resented it because I had to go through and write all my notes out. Because Supernatural Wiki is currently broken, so I can't access any transcripts. So I had to go back to like what I was doing in the first couple of episodes and just write down the entire episode. And it took me hours to do my notes today, which I low-key resent. I don't think I actually don't like the episode, but I don't think I can separate out my feelings of annoyance.
Well, I know that we kind of talked about it when I watched it the first time, and you said that you liked it as well. But the reasons, well, I'll see if this jogs your memory. So I really like it because there was lots of like, ooh moments.
Yeah,
I just
that's
kept
true.
doing that all the time because I was like, oh my God, what? Because it's really, really dark. The episode's dark, but it's really good. And also, I have so many questions now.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But my main one, which I'll just ask here in the preamble, is what in the Vampire Diaries is going on with Sam? Because he drinks blood now. Human blood.
Yep. In my notes, I just say Sam is actually a vampire at this point.
Yeah, like a demon vampire.
A demon pyre, if you will.
I was trying to think of a word to swash them together, but I couldn't work it out. A vampin. A deempire. There we go. A deempire, that's good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I like this episode. There's moments in it that I really, really love, and I feel like there's one scene that I think is referencing something else, but I don't know what it is. It might even be Buffy, but like when Anna stabs Uriel through the neck and says, "There's me." Oh,
because
that's
he's
my
like,
favorite scene in this
I don't
whole
believe in
episode.
God or something, and then
he's like, God's not even here anymore. God's not real anymore. Something like to that effect. And she says, no, maybe not, but there's me. While she stabs him through the neck. And it is badass and amazing and heroic and like just really, really cool. She's a fantastic character. And I love seeing more of her in this episode, and I love watching her go all like Sarah Connor on the Bad Angels. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that scene.
See her again. Yeah, that was good. Also, Sam and Dean are both bad boys in this episode.
They really, really are. I think I enjoy it, and there's a lot of thirst traps in this episode. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm laughing because one of our listeners reached out and said that we've cursed them. We've cursed them with the thirst traps. She was like, now every single time I watch an episode, in my head, I'm like, that's a thirst trap. That's a thirst trap. And I'm explaining to myself why it's a thirst trap. There's going to be a lot of that in this episode for sure.
Definitely.
I wonder if she's going to remember that when she gets to this episode, because she has found us more recently, so she's several seasons back. So it's going to be really funny to see if she knows that this is about her when she gets to this episode. But basically, Dean going really dark is really hot in a lot of different scenes, but also he's being emotionally tormented all episode, and that's hard for me to watch because I love him so much. Sam is being quite dark in this episode, but Sam's clearly also going dark side. And so it is hot, but you're also like, wow.
Yeah, I'm torn by the whole Sam going dark because I love him, but I love his sweet nerdy side. But he's also really hot when he's naughty. When he's bad.
Naughty. I saw a clip on Instagram today, and I can't remember whose account it was from. But it was a clip of Jared on a panel with Eric Kripke, and I think some of the other writers talking about how he wished that he'd had more opportunity to play like a darker version of Sam And I think several of the fans have said that they wish that they'd seen more of him doing that because he plays villains really well. And he was saying, "Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really like playing dark and twisted characters." And he was like, "Sam Winchester is pretty dark and twisted. Like he
Yeah.
goes through a lot." Um, and he said, "I think I did a pretty good job." And then he looks pointedly over at Eric Kripke, and Kripke's like, "Yeah, yeah, you did, you did a really good job." And then Jared's like, "Yeah, I did." Um,
Aw.
so I don't know. It was a really fun little interview snippet, and it fits so well with this conversation because like he does do dark really surprisingly well, considering that he also has before mostly just played like really good guys.
Yeah, he does play good. I think it's because, like, well, we've said it before, it's like his physical, like, appearance, like, he's so big, so he's really scary. But then
Yeah.
also that's what makes him endearing when he's like sweet Sam,
Mm.
because he's like a gentle giant.
It's interesting too because the way that we perceive Sam is so much of Jared's performance because he's this huge, enormous, imposing guy, but he can give you those dopey puppy dog eyes
Yeah.
and be completely helpless or whatever. And he's so endearing and he can make you feel like he's so vulnerable. And with the flip of a switch, he's like, "My daddy shot your daddy in the head." And you get like goosebumps. And you go, "Oh God, we're all gonna die." So like, yeah, he is really talented.
Yeah. It's good. I like it.
Laura, do you want to do the synopsis?
Yeah. So this is
People are gonna
season.
be like, "Why is she always laughing?" And it's because there's always an awkward start that you don't hear that gets edited out every single time, which is why she's always laughing when she starts the synopsis.
Yes.
Just like that.
Um, this is season 4, episode 16, On the Head of a Pin. The original air date for this episode was March 19th, 2009. Angels are being killed, so Dean is recruited by Castiel and Uriel to use the torture skills he learned in Hell to interrogate Alastair, a powerful demon they captured last episode, and the demon who taught Dean what he knows about torture, in hopes of finding out who is murdering the angels. Dean reluctantly agrees, despite his concerns with reliving his torture days and his guilt around this. Meanwhile, Castiel grows increasingly conflicted about Heaven's orders, and we find out that Sam is secretly drinking demon blood to enhance his powers. In a shocking revelation, Alastair tells Dean that Dean himself unknowingly broke the first seal, and that the impending apocalypse will be because of him, which Castiel later confirms. Alastair then manages to escape his bindings due to sabotage and attacks Dean. Sam then kills Alastair using his enhanced powers, saving Dean. And at the end of the episode, it is revealed that Uriel was the one behind the angel murders and the sabotage that freed Alastair, because he's leading some sort of angel rebellion, choosing to help bring on the apocalypse and raise Lucifer. Castiel and Uriel fight, but it's Anna, who has come back to help Castiel see the truth, who ends up killing him.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah. The angel wing stuff is cool as well.
It is really cool. I love that effect.
Yeah. And we have one in the opening scene.
Hmm.
So we open to the aftermath of a car crash. There's alarms and sirens and broken glass everywhere, and Cass walks up, puts his hand out, and everything goes silent. He then walks over to a woman who is lying on the ground dead. He finds a wound on her chest and then looks at her and says, "Goodbye, sister." Police cars arrive as Cass disappears, and then the camera pans out and we get a shot of her from above, and we see when the police, like, the torchlights are shining
Mm.
over her, that she has angel wings that they kind of look like they've been burned into the ground. I don't know if that's what they're
Yeah.
supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Um, and it was really cool. So she's an angel and she's been killed.
She is an angel. So my thoughts on this scene had more to do with the camera work than anything else, and I thought it was
Hmm.
so cool because when we see the dead angel, she's wearing a white dress, and it's giving very much like Virgin Mary, angelic woman
Yeah.
vibes.
Hmm.
But it also echoes Mary's death in the pilot to a T because of the camera angle,
Ah.
the way that they pan out and spin around. The angle of her body is the exact same as Mary's.
Oh yeah, with
Um,
like a leg up.
mhm. And they've added a few little like golden sparkles and um also there's light bouncing off of the cars and things. So we see accurate to size angel wings burned into the ground as well. But as they get further away, the scene gets darker and you kind of lose that. And we get very far out until she looks really small and kind of vulnerable. But it's cool because it looks a little bit like an altar or something really occult that is framing her. I put a photo of it in my show notes. So for anybody who wants to see exactly what I'm talking about, because she's in the middle of this perfect circle of lights, basically. And it looks so cool.
Yeah, it really does. And I hadn't even realised the link to Mary's death, but that is, yeah, it's really obvious now you say it. And also maybe even the burned angel wings because she was on fire.
There's a little fire reference. I think those little gold sparkles are supposed to make us
Oh,
think
like
of
the embers.
embers.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And reference Mary on the ceiling even further.
So when angels die, why is there burning? Like, do they? Because Uriel's death is the same. He has those burned wings as well. And I just, with him, it's like maybe he's been dragged down instead of up, but she
Hmm.
doesn't seem like she was. Although I
No.
suppose if it's angels behind it, maybe they go somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about that bit.
So the way that I think of it is an angel's grace is like a piece of God, right? It is hugely powerful. And God at times in the Bible would be this divine fire. So like the burning bush and stuff like that. Um
Oh, okay.
and angels themselves in certain old texts sometimes I think are described as like beings of fire. Because there's a bit of time in mythology before they're separated from the jinn in the Middle East. So I think that it makes sense. And then the way that they display the angel's grace when it looks like they're going to die or be killed, it's this huge flare of light, isn't it? Um, and a lot of the times they are described as being overwhelming to look at. Like, look at what happens to Pam. So I think that when their
Oh, yeah, her
host
eyes
body
burned
is
out.
killed, because remember, these aren't their real bodies. They're angelic beings, right? They're not flesh and blood. So when their host body is killed or they're killed, I think their grace burns through the body and leaves
Uh,
behind the imprint of the wings because the wings are really there. It's just we don't see them.
yeah. I was just thinking because I was, in Supernatural at this particular moment of like where I am with watching it. Like fire is demons to me,
Yeah.
but yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Think of it as like heavenly fire. You have hellfire and then you have heavenly fire, and the angels are like made of heavenly fire.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next frame that we see, it's dark, it's night outside, it's foggy and rainy, and Sam's driving, which definitely gives the impression that something's wrong because Sam's driving. What the
Yeah, if
what?
Dean's not eating or not driving the Impala, something's
Something's
up.
wrong. Yeah. So Dean's basically having a meltdown about Pam dying, which I kind of don't understand if I'm really honest because it feels a little forced to me since they barely knew her. And when they did know her, she spent most of her time groping them.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
I
I
had
think it's
this.
guilt though, isn't it? They blame themselves for her being involved.
Thank you for ruining my rant.
Sorry.
Um, it feels like what I felt about the Avengers when Paulson gets killed and he's basically killed off to unite them. And then it just never sold it for me because they barely knew him. They knew him for like 5 minutes, and suddenly they're so moved by his death that they're going to unite and do this thing. I just feel like characters' deaths like this get used as tools in storytelling a lot, and I get really annoyed when it feels like it's poorly done. I don't think that they
Mhm.
cared that much about her. They didn't really know her. They spent all of um Death Takes a Holiday trying to put her in the world in a way that like makes her more significant to them, and it just feels forced to me personally. I think she needed more of a storyline for us to even like her. I'm sure there are people who like her as a character. I really could not give a rat's ass about Pam. I find her super annoying, and I want to like her is the thing. She's like supposed to be this like fun rock and roll chick, but she's just
Yeah.
like she's such a shallow character. She's really contradictory because they didn't know. I don't think they knew what they were doing with her. So she really contradicts herself. She's like, I hate angels. I never want to see any angels again. But then she immediately does all this stuff. And then it was like what Laura was pointing out in the previous episode. Oh, now suddenly she's a hypnotist. Oh,
Mm.
she's suddenly doing this. Like it just feels really heavy-handed to me writing wise.
They're just using it conveniently to like when they want to do something. It's like, oh, now she can hypnotize
Yeah.
people, and now she can send people to the astral plane.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like they barely knew her and they imply more backstory than we've ever seen and it just doesn't feel real and that always makes me angry. Um
She was
so
more
yeah.
Bobby's friend. We haven't seen Bobby for ages. Where's Bobby?
No, I know. Bring back Bobby. Hashtag bring back Bobby. Um so yeah, so Dean's in a mood. He says, I'm just getting tired, and Sam says, we'll get angry. And that part made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, yeah. There was also there's a bit where Dean's like being sarcastic because Sam says she knew what was at stake, like talking about Pam.
Yeah.
And Dean says, "Oh yeah, saving the world, and we're doing such a damn good job of it." And I wrote, "Come on, Dean, you have stopped one seal from being open. Don't be so hard on yourself."
One. Oh man. So we cut to a motel door opening and it's quite dark. And I feel like the theme here is darkness. And Dean's like,
Is this it's the same motel as last episode? They've just gone back because they had like green tile looking the same wallpaper or tiles
it
as
looked
last episode.
different to me, but I don't know, maybe it is the same. And
Uh.
I just didn't notice the details. Um Dean says home crappy home, and that also made me laugh. Um and then I said, and lo, they walk in on the most annoying angel to ever live, Uriel. What a dick.
He's just mean. He's like he
Yeah.
makes it so hard to like him.
Yeah. And then I was like, I love how in the background of this opening shot, Castiel is literally just hanging out in the background looking broody.
Castiel does a lot of that this episode.
He really does. Um,
I actually found him quite hot in this episode.
he is hot in this episode, that's why. You are correct. So I was looking for themes in the motel, and you can kind of see what looks like a cowboy on a horse, and then there's this moody looking painting behind Castiel. And then you can see this sort of like rounded out cross thing, like Episcopalian crosses. I don't know. That's not a right way of explaining it, but there are these very old school rounded sort of clover looking crosses, and that's what it is.
I think this is the same motel because I think that was in the last one as well, like the dividing wally thing.
Send me pictures.
Well,
Pictures and I'll believe you. Um so yeah, so that's what's in that metal wire thing that Props loves to be like, this is the theme. And I put a photo of it in my show notes.
yeah, the main thing from this episode, this scene for me was just the like Cass is obviously like he's standing back and he used to be the one in charge and now it seems like Uriel is and it's like what's going on there?
Yeah, you immediately understand that the power dynamic has changed.
Yeah,
Um
and
and
Dean
it's
notices as well because he keeps like looking at
yeah.
Cass, doesn't he? Like
He's
what's
like,
going
"What the
on?
fuck, bro?" Yeah. So Dean's first line on coming in and seeing them is, "Oh, come on." And I laughed so hard. Um
He's being so grumpy to them as well, which is funny.
Yeah, and then Dean and Uriel get into this. I described it as a weird macho showdown situation in which, for no discernible reason to me, Castiel is now acting like he's Uriel's little lapdog, which is my
Yeah.
kind of like feeling of seeing Castiel just back all the way down instead of being like, I am in charge of everything and I am the most powerful and I control you. Suddenly he's like, um, when Sam says that line about the demon killing angels, I initially heard him say demon ice juice angels, and that made me laugh so hard. Because he talks about what kind of demon has the power to ice angels. And I really misheard the whole thing, and then I just cracked up. Demon ice juice angels should be the name of a band or something. It just feels wasted.
So the angels tell Dean that he's needed to talk to Alastair, basically. And
Yeah.
Dean's very reluctant, but Uriel makes it clear that they're telling him, not asking him, and then they all
Mm.
disappear. And
Hmm.
Sam's left behind, and he's like, damn it!
Yeah, and it's like it kind of pulls out a bit, doesn't it? And Sam's just like so alone. It's so mad.
Yeah.
That part's really good. And then we see the exterior of a creepy abandoned looking building. And knowing what supernatural production was actually like, this probably is legit a warehouse building that was just condemned. And they went and filmed there because it was cheap. And then I was really interested because when we see Alastair, what he's on is like, he's on a Star of David
That's what
on
I thought,
top
yeah.
of a Solomon seal, and the
Hmm.
chains that are wrapping him down are also forming another Star of David.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, witchcraft wise, would this actually work? And I went and I looked it up. So I'm gonna give you some lore.
Okay, good.
So
Because I had questions about this.
the hexagram or six-pointed star has been used in various cultures for centuries as a magical or decorative symbol. Its specific association with Judaism began in the Middle Ages, where medieval Jewish mystics ascribed magical powers to it. The first official use by a Jewish community was in Prague in the 17th century. That goes on to say that um, it does have mystical connections, and it's actually um, a kind of an iteration of the Seal of Solomon, which also has like a pentagram shape to it.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they're sort of variants of the many-sided star, whether it be 5 or 6. And the Seal of Solomon is depicted basically as a Star of David. Sometimes it's like a hexagram. And it is actually the predecessor. So when we see the Star of David, it's the evolution of the Seal of Solomon, um, and also the pentagram. And it was thought to give Solomon dominion over supernatural creatures, the ability to speak with animals, and great wisdom. And there's a whole occult set of traditions that link it to different magical practices. And in the Testament of Solomon, which is in the Bible, it describes Solomon being given a ring to control demons, which then he uses to build a temple. So the
Cool,
idea
yeah.
that it would be able to control a demon or seal a demon or force a demon in place is actually accurate. Um, and the specific design of the seal as a hexagram looks like it's medieval Arabic tradition. Most scholars assume that the symbol entered the Kabbalistic tradition of medieval Spain from Arabic literature. The representation as a pentagram, by contrast, seems to arise in the Western tradition of Renaissance magic, which was in turn strongly influenced by medieval Arab and Jewish occultism. So, uh, W. Kennett, who was born in 1660, makes this reference to a pentacle of Solomon with the power of exorcising demons. And then, according to a Jewish scholar, Gershom Scholem, the founder of the modern academic study of Kabbalah, he says, it is difficult to say for how long certain definite names have been used for several of the most common seals. The Arabs made many such terms especially popular, but just the names the Seal of Solomon and the Shield of David, which is like the Star of David, so it's also called the Shield of David, um, are often used interchangeably for the two emblems. They go back to pre-Islamic Jewish magic.
Oh, cool.
Right. So it's so interesting. So other scholars have demonstrated a wide variety of origins for the usage, including late Babylonian, cuneiform from ancient Mesopotamia, Egyptian hieroglyphs, early ancient South Arabian script. Um, I don't know how to say this because I haven't come across it before, but it's Tifinagh. I'm guessing Tifna. And then also the ancient Greek alphabet, Indian Hinduism, and Byzantine Greek people. So it has like almost worldwide roots, very, very old roots.
Yeah,
And I can check this off witchcraft wise. Like it should definitely work for the purpose that it's being described to.
cool. And that's just the bit that he, like the Star of David part that he's attached to. Because
So
then,
that's describing what you see underneath him that Castiel says is a Nokian.
oh, okay, yeah, because,
Is a
yeah.
variant of a Seal of Solomon, right? So you have the Seal of Solomon underneath, and then the Star of David, which is the later iteration above, and then the chains are also
Form as
physically
well.
forming another Star of David as well. So, like,
Yeah,
the
because,
entire thing is basically like a triple trap.
okay. Yeah, because I when he says it's old Enochian or whatever, that's the bit that I looked up, and all I found was it's like a basically like an angel language. But then I noticed the Star of David as well,
Hmm.
so that's cool that it's all
Yeah.
connected in that way. And then Cass says that because of all this, he's bound completely. That's a quote,
Yeah.
and I say, is he? Is he, Cass?
Well, he would have been if it wasn't fucked with. I do have a thought on that later.
Mm.
So next we see Dean and Cass watching this through a door that has one of those reinforced glass windows where there's steel wire running through it crisscross. And
Hmm.
it's interesting because it does give us this impression that Dean is in some kind of a cage again. That hell is kind of coming for him as this unstoppable force that's going to put him in this very particular place in this moment in time where
Oh,
he's forced to do something that torments him.
that's deep.
Thank you. I also have a photo reference in my show notes for this one. I got photos for everything because I had to sit and watch and like do everything. Also, if you actually try to read my show notes and parts of it are gibberish, it's because I was dictating it to my phone.
This is why I don't share my actual notes.
I have no shame.
um. So yeah, so basically Dean's like, "Nah, I'm not doing this." So he goes to leave, but Uriel blocks his path, and so I've just read my own notes. Dean says, "You can't make me do this," and I was singing, "I would do anything for love, but I won't do that." Oh, and then this is where I said Cass is pretty hot because he strides over to Dean and he's like, "This is too much to ask, I know, but we have to ask it." And he was like there.
Yeah. When Dean goes to storm past them after arguing with them, I wrote that's a thirst trap. He was like, "Fuck this, I'm going to Cheyenne," and they're like, "You have to do that," and he goes, "Fascinating," and then he goes to leave, and I was like, "That is the best sarcastic Dean thirst trap I've ever seen." So
um,
then Dean says that he wants to talk to Cass alone, and then he
yeah.
tells Uriel to bring him donuts. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
And Uriel says this one just won't quit, will he? I think I'm starting to like you, boy. It's so funny. So then Uriel finally fucks off and Dean turns back to Cass after he like flaps away. You hear the angel flapping away sound and then he's just
Oh yeah, I
gone.
have a question about that because we always just hear the whooshy angel
Yeah.
flapping, and I'm always like, do they just always do this? Do we ever actually see them? And then I wrote, I wonder what it actually looks like. Do they just disappear, or do their huge wings come out and they actually fly off?
Yeah. We'll never know because they'll never show us.
Oh.
Um so Dean turns back to Cass and says, "You guys don't walk enough, you're gonna get flabby." And I have a picture of Cass's face, and then I also have a picture of Cass's face when he makes that joke in a minute about Ural being the funniest one. And I was like, listen,
I love that
I
look.
know that we're not supposed to think that he has a sense of humor yet, but I feel like he clearly has a sense of humor. Um, did you want to say the line?
Yeah, okay. That is my favourite line.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Uriel goes and Dean tells Cass, I'm starting to think Junkless, because that's what he calls him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has a better sense of humour than you. And then Cass, totally deadpan, just says, Uriel's the funniest angel in the garrison. Ask anyone.
Yeah.
And that is my favourite quote of the whole episode.
Yeah. I said it was a thirst trap too. Because he's
Yeah.
so deadpan. He's
It's
so
deadpan.
deadpan. And it's weirdly hot.
Yeah.
Which is why I have
And
a picture of his face because it's sexy.
and Dean is just speechless. He just kind of is like, okay.
Yeah.
uh,
Ah,
and then,
amazing.
this is where Dean then asks Cass what's going on because
Mm.
he's noticed that the power change. And
Yeah.
basically, Cass has been demoted for caring too much about Dean.
Because he says he was caring too much, and then he looks Dean deeply in the eyes and says, "You."
Yeah. I have a little note here. I'm just gonna read this out. So this whole conversation is cute, but um Cass then sort of says, I would give anything for you not to do this. And I get it. I get why there's
Yeah.
a Destiel ship because
Yeah.
I get it. I get why people think there's a potential romance. Certainly with Cass at the moment. Maybe not quite with Dean yet, but yeah, I just want to say I see you people. I see you Destiel
Yeah.
people.
Cast
I'm
from
not
day one.
yeah.
Maybe not day one. No, it is day one because I rewatched the stabbing scene the other day, and he just looks at him like, in a sexy
Yeah.
but menacing way. He's just like, "Oh, he stabbed me in the heart. How cute."
Yeah, I get it. I'm not fully convinced myself yet, but I definitely don't oppose it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think
So
there's
my
potential there.
conviction is I don't know about Dean. I've never been 100% sure about Dean, but I do know that Cass loves Dean. So
Yeah,
that's not a question for me. So like Destiel is real regardless.
yeah,
I'm specifically watching this rewatch to see what clues Dean gives me about his bisexuality or lack thereof. And I've actually been really surprised because there's been a couple of times where I'm like, okay, but maybe he is in my rainbow family.
mm.
So we
Well, he
shall,
does have a few moments where he's like, it's like you're protesting too much kind of thing.
yeah, with the chief.
It's that like the hyper masculinity stuff that's
Yeah,
like, what's that masking, Dean?
yeah. Why are you so intense about it?
Yeah,
So, um, after that, he says that emotions are doorways to doubt, and that's really interesting. So, like, his affection for Dean is seen as a doorway to doubt, and having emotions are forbidden.
yeah,
And that's really fascinating. And it also adds this other forbidden layer to like, it adds more fuel to the fire of like, are his feelings already romantic?
hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting because it's like, so angels are supposed to just be like blindly follow. I suppose they're supposed to have faith, aren't they?
Yeah.
Blindly following and not thinking for themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, they literally are supposed to be God's plan itself. Like,
Yeah.
they're absolutely supposed to do every single thing that he tells them to do. Because the only angel to ever say no to God is literally Lucifer. Lucifer said, nah, fam. I do not want to bow to these stupid, like, creatures
Peoples.
who are doing horrible things to each other. And look
Mm.
at how they're treating the environment. And God was like, bitch, get to hell. So,
Yeah. That's like Uriel's point later, isn't it? He's like,
exactly.
he really hates people.
Well, see, there's definitely clues that he was very like Lucifer-like
Yeah.
in the earlier episodes with his hatred of humanity, because
What does he
basically
call humans? He's
mud
like calls.
monkeys.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
So
not
there's a
nice.
huge deal about that. And it is interesting, and I kind of felt stupid when it came to light that I didn't pick up on it earlier, because his whole attitude mirrors Lucifer's attitude of like, ew, no. These creatures are so basic. What do you mean they're better than us? He's like, "What do you mean?" Um, so they continue their conversation about Dean going in and torturing Alastair, basically. And Dean says, "When you ask me to open that door and walk through it, you will not like what walks back out. And it's so chilling and so dark."
Yeah.
And I also thought that was a thirst trap because there's something very wrong with me.
I think there's something wrong with all of us in this episode
All
because
of
it's all
us.
hot and it's
Yeah.
all wrong.
It's all hot and it's all wrong. It's wrong hot. It's hot wrong. It's a hot mess. So Cass says, for what it's worth, I would give anything to not have you do this, which is one of Laura's favorite lines, I
Because he
think.
loved him.
He loves him. He wants to marry him. Um, we're gonna keep doing that forever, aren't
Yeah, we're just like quoting Miss Congeniality in
we?
every single
Forever and
episode.
ever on a loop. So then um, you see Cass in the background. So like in the foreground of the shot is Dean just closes his eyes and he looks so shattered. And in the
Mm.
background, literally over his shoulder, is Cass. And we don't see him because he's out of focus, but we can tell that Cass is feeling some deep feelings from what we do see. So when Dean walks in with his torture implements, Alastair starts singing Frank Sinatra to him and doing this little shoulder dance under the chains, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. Dean's face of like walking over super threateningly, like he's about to do terrible things to Alastair, is the ultimate thirst trap. And I have a photo of that also. He does this thing where he does this like Kubrick stare while he's walking forward, and it is amazing. He looks really psychotic and so sexy.
Yeah. I did have in my notes. I bet Joy thinks Dean is super hot in this scene.
Yeah, I do. You were right.
And that was
Sex and
before I
violence.
realised that so do I.
I swear all I do is miscongeniality and Nelson. um
Also, Alistair, like, I I think I still prefer the first version of Alastair, but this guy is really good. He's really, really creepy,
Yeah.
but he's also a bit annoying. Like, the actor's not. The character is really annoying, but he's supposed to be. But he's
Mhm.
also really scary.
Yeah. So I saw an interview with Jensen where they were asking him if he could have worked longer with any other actor, who would he like to have extended their time? And he said this version of Alastair because he felt
Yeah,
like this
cool.
actor was making really interesting choices and it was getting really good, and they had a good kind of rapport because he doesn't like to have somebody come in who's just memorized the script and memorized all their actions and mirror rehearsed and doesn't have any flexibility. He wants somebody who knows the script and the story and who's willing to like play in the same sandbox as him. I think he's more of an experiencer, and I think he really goes all the way into the world when he's playing someone. And I think he likes it when other people will meet him there.
Yeah.
Um, so he was having a great time with this actor, and he says this guy is the guy that he wished he had longer with because obviously he dies in this episode, so we don't see him again.
Spoiler alert, Joy.
And I could see that because they have a good back and forth.
Yeah. Um, I think there was something to do with that on IMDb, and I just want to say there's no fun facts for me this episode because all of the facts on the trivia on IMDb was just warning, spoilers. So I didn't read any of them,
Oh,
like literally all of them.
uh-huh. So it's pretty clear to me personally that during this torture scene, Alastair is trying to access Dean's more demonic self. And I think that would be a victory for the bad guys. Because if Dean is this righteous man that's been pulled out of hell to be part of this battle, then corrupting him would mean this big win. Um, so I felt like his visibly fighting his inner demons at this part in the episode was pretty key to the plot.
Yeah.
And then then we come back to Sam at the motel and he's obviously called Ruby to like come and help him. And she's like, "Ugh, angels. It smells like angels. Gross." And I was like, "What do angels smell like?"
Yeah, she doesn't see what the issue is. She's like, well, Alice being tortured. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, she's like, "Why is this a problem? I don't
And they've taken
understand."
Dean, and Dean doesn't like her, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And she's like, "Dean could get closure."
Yeah. See what and Sam keeps saying, like, he says multiple times in this episode, like, Dean's not strong enough.
Yeah.
And like, I don't agree with him. But also why, like, does I mean, and he's saying like emotionally, I guess. But he is. He doesn't believe in
Oh,
himself.
I have a whole theory. I have a whole theory that I'm going to tell you about right now. So, with Sam talking to Ruby, where he's saying over and over again that Dean's not strong enough and something's happened to him and he's broken, but that Sam can be stronger, Sam can be the strongest, is to my mind the biggest sign of his corruption.
Yeah.
Because we watch him get more and more prideful as these episodes get on and like act a little bit more and a little bit more like the Antichrist
Okay.
kind of vibes. So this is one of the biggest tipping points because previous Sam, like OG Sam, always viewed Dean as his strength.
Yeah. It's like the big brother.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now he thinks he's better than Dean.
Now he's like, I am totally better than Dean. I am so much stronger than that little bitch.
Yeah, I don't agree with you, Samuel.
No. Samael.
Yeah.
So during the torture scene, Alastair talks about John and about how John lasted like 100 years and Dean only lasted 30.
Yeah.
Um, and then so Dean starts to bring out the holy water and he says, "Oh, holy water, you're gonna have to get more creative than that, grasshopper." And Dean is like, "When I was in hell, I could still dream, and every night I dreamed of this moment." And then he fills this huge syringe with holy water. And then he starts injecting Alastair with holy water. And we cut back to Cass's point of view and we just hear Alastair scream off camera. And it's so
Yeah.
dark, but
Mhm.
so good at the same time.
There's definitely moments with Alistair, like in all of these scenes of the torture, where if he if Dean isn't looking at him, he looks worried and like, oh
Mm,
shit, what have I got myself into? But
yeah.
obviously when Dean is looking at him, he's putting on a like the brave face and being all like sarcastic to him and trying to rile him up and things. And I think that's really interesting because And again, I think that's down to the actor that plays this guy, being really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really well done. I also really enjoy these kind of gothic elements in the filmmaking because as the atmosphere is sort of building up with this torture in the background, we cut back to Cass and we see it really mirroring the building is mirroring how Castiel's feeling on the inside, right? So he's very small in the frame in this room full of chains, and the camera kind of slowly pans around all of these dark, heavy chains throughout the entire room. And it's this kind of hellish atmosphere. And Cass turns to one side and looks really tortured. And it's very close to looking directly down the lens of the camera, but just not quite. So it's quite a
Mm.
powerful moment. And then we cut to black, and that's so dramatic. So I thought
Yeah.
that the directing of the episode was really, really, really good.
Yeah, same, it's good. So then we're back at the motel, and Ruby is performing some sort of location ritual with a fire and a map. It's gone very
Hmm.
charmed.
Yeah.
um, she's chanting, and she tells Sam not to worry about the fire as it's their friend. And then she says
Yeah.
out, and all the flames go out, leaving a small piece of map that hasn't been burnt. And then she's like, "That's where Dean is."
Yeah. It was really, really cool. And I love how horrified Sam's face is. He's just like, ah, fire. And I was like, maybe
Fire
he's
in a
having
room, motel
flashbacks.
room. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
And
true.
Ruby's like, fine, it's fine. Relax. Fire is our friend. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
the hellfire.
um, and then Sam says to Ruby, "Ruby, it's been weeks. I need it," and sits on the edge of the bed. And I was like, What's going on here?"
Yeah.
um, and he says that he doesn't want it, but he needs it to be strong enough. And I was like, "What? What is she talking about?" So then Ruby straddles him on the bed and tells him it's okay. He can have it. And I thought, oh, it's just sex.
Mhm.
Um, but I was wrong because then they
Our
start kissing.
sweet, innocent child.
And Ruby gets out a knife. She slices into her arm, and then Sam starts drinking her blood. And my initial reaction was, ew. And then my second reaction was, uh oh, Sam is drinking demon blood, like some sort of demon vampire. And Ruby has an evil smile. Did you see? Like he's like
Yeah.
she just does like a really evil smile when he's doing it.
Yeah. So she's cradling him like a mother, right? Like
A mother
feeding him
vampire.
her blood. Well, my note just says Sam is a vampire.
He is a vampire.
Yeah. Um, so then we cut back to Dean holding a demon blade, not the demon blade knife, Ruby's knife, and he dips it in holy water, and then Dean stabs Alastair with it. And Alastair, during this point, is saying, I carved you into a new animal, Dean. There's no going back. And Dean says, maybe you're right, but now it's my turn to carve. And he gets his face all up in Alastair's face, and I wrote hot fire emoji.
Yeah, he is hot though. He is hot in this. There's something wrong with all of us.
Yep, yep. We're all fucked up. So then um the seal on the water pipe starts loosening by itself and it starts dripping water onto the chalk. And I just wrote the chalk that's been used to draw the devil's trap, the Solomon seal, which like for angels are supposed to be kind of omniscient. You would think that they would be like, maybe we should use something that's not chalk. Because it just feels
Yeah.
like the most fragile thing that you could possibly use to draw this trap with.
Yeah.
Feel like somebody should have been like, maybe we should use spray paint or something or
Like they did in
magic.
what was the episode where they were all in the police station and they used spray paint then.
Use and bellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um I originally, because obviously I didn't know what was going on here, and I thought,
yeah.
is a ghost helping?
It's a ghost helping the demon.
Yeah.
The
And also
demons versus ghost war has taken a turn.
I have a whole flag about the whole Alastair escaping later, by the way, as well.
Oh, okay, okay. So I just wrote, the lights start flickering and exploding, and Cass looks up because he's like, hey, that's my entrance music. And then we cut and we see that it's Anna. So we can tell from this scene that we're starting to get this division in the angels, like the good angels versus the bad angels. And Anna and Cass are kind of being set up to be the good guys, and Uriel is being set up to be the bad guy. And then
Yeah.
there's a point where Uriel says that he's going to go receive revelations or get revelation. And I thought that was really interesting because basically Anna asks where he is. And Cass says that he went to receive revelation. And so I feel like it's a reference to revelations themselves because there are a lot of things that are happening with the seals that mirror passages and different things from Revelation. So I'm not going to put that here because it would be too long, but I've put it in at the end where I'll tell you the little pieces of lore that I think are mirroring what we're seeing in the storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We cut back to Dean and Alastair, and Dean's being super evil and it's really hot. And Alastair laughs after being stabbed again and says, "You know, it's your professionalism that I respect." And then he laughs at Dean. And I thought that that was such a cool, menacing, and also funny sequence. And then we cut back to Anna because we're seeing Dean get more and more corrupt throughout the scene, right? Like watching him because he starts out reluctantly and then he starts apparently enjoying himself. But we also start to see his emotions leaving his face and he starts to look more and
Yeah.
more it's the Kubrick stare. It's like the classic
Mm.
psycho stare, like when you see serial killer photos with too much of the whites of the eyes showing and just a vacancy. That's what we're starting to see on Dean's face. So it's really
Yeah.
powerful when Anna starts asking, "Why are you letting Dean do this?"
Do you
And
think Dean was doing that like on purpose, like he was trying to close himself off so he doesn't like remember it?
no, I think Dean has a dark side. And I think
Mm.
we're literally watching it overtake him as this is
Okay.
happening. So that's why, like I was trying to say, that's why it's so powerful when Anna asks, "Why are you letting Dean do this?" And
Yeah.
Cass says that he's doing God's work, and Anna says, "Torturing."
Yeah.
And then she says, "Stop him, Cass, please, before you ruin the one real weapon you have." And that's
Yeah.
obviously like really profound. That's a really key statement because Dean sounds like, or we know now that Dean is the key to everything and that he has some kind of mythical fate type
Mm. Yeah.
heroic situation happening. And
He's a
so it
prophecy.
makes it it's like a prophecy. It makes it all the more horrifying as we watch him descend deeper and deeper into his own darkness while he's torturing Alastair.
Yeah. I noted that quote as being really important as well when she says that he's a weapon.
Not just that, but the
The
chosen
one
one.
weapon you have. Yeah.
One Slayer, born a generation. Anyway, um, so they keep having a conversation, and Castiel is like, "Who are we to question the will of God?" Basically, and Anna says, "Unless this isn't His will," because she's very
Mm.
smart. Um, and Cass says, "Then where are the orders coming from?" And Anna says, "I don't know. One of our superiors, maybe, but not him."
Yeah.
And I thought that
Uh,
was really, really well acted.
yeah, same. In the background of this, Dean's pretty much waterboarding Alistair with holy water.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And
Yeah.
then Anna is like trying to, because Anna obviously is a fallen angel, and she notices that Cass is like starting to question things, and she kind of is trying to encourage that in him as well, or make get him to kind of feel that what he's thinking is right.
Yeah.
Um, and she tells him that the orders he's following are wrong and he knows it and that he can do the right thing. And then she says she knows he's afraid, but together they can. And during this, she's been like touching his hand, and he all of a sudden like whips his hand away,
Mhm.
um, and gets angry, saying that he's nothing like her, and then tells her to go. That was also hot.
Yeah.
So Alistair, who was screaming and stuff a minute ago, has now decided that what Dean is doing is pathetic and not effective. So okay, Alistair. And he continues to provoke Dean. Alistair then starts explaining that Lilith wanted him there in hell the whole time, but Dean cuts him off by pouring salt down his throat. And then we get a cut scene where Sam is in the Impala driving with purpose and looking sexy. Then we cut back to the torture again. And because of the salt, Alistair is now coughing up like foamy blood, which was gross.
Yeah.
And this was really interesting, this part. So Alistair tells Dean that it was supposed to be John who was, quote, supposed to bring it on. And Dean asks, bring what on? And Alistair says that when he broke and tortured the first person in hell, this was the first seal that was broken. And
Hmm.
Dean's like, you're lying. And Alistair repeats some scripture, or the seal or whatever, and he says, and it is written that the first seal shall be broken when a righteous man sheds blood in hell. As he breaks, so shall it break. And Dean just stares at him and turns away. And Alistair says they had to start with the first seal, and when they win and bring on the apocalypse, it will be because of Dean. And Dean is still facing away from Alistair here, and he's had this, like you say, the Kubrick stare, the poker face, like this
Yeah,
whole time, and you can tell that he's looks really worried now. Oh, and I had a note to say, there's lots of jaw clenching going on here, Joy. Did you appreciate that?
I do. Always. Always. Because we know that Dean, since he was a kid, has been raised to be this protector. Like, he was raised to
Yeah.
protect Sam. He's been taught to protect women, to protect children. And we know he's been taught to be righteous because John is very self righteous. Okay. Um, so learning that he was the righteous man, and then that for him, as a person, that's like his whole identity. And that was really enforced for us as an audience in the after school special episode where he's like, I'm a hero.
Yeah.
That he's supposed to be heroic. He's supposed to be the good guy, and he's supposed to kill the bad things and protect people. Um, to know that he's the person who did all of this is actually soul crushing, and you could see it on his face. Like, I took pictures of Jensen's acting because it's beautiful, and his face is also very beautiful. But like, his eyes close slowly, and you can see all of this tension in his jaw, and you can see the tears start to back build in his eyes.
Yeah.
Um, and Alastair goes on to say that he wouldn't lie. It's sort of a religious thing with him, really flippantly. And at this moment in time, his back is turned to Alastair. We can see that Dean is on the verge of tears, but Alastair doesn't know that. He looks really broken to us, but then when he turns around again, he looks like he's gone full psycho, and he says, no, I don't think you are lying. And then he says, but even if the demons do, as in if they break all the seals and bring on the apocalypse, you won't be here to see it. And then we see him
Ooh.
literally go just off. Like, we think he's about to destroy Alastair. But then when he turns back around, Alastair is free. He makes this jaunty comment and then punches Dean directly in the mouth.
Yeah.
And then there's a little cut to black.
Wait, I have a flag.
Okay.
Right. How did Alistair get free? Yes, the devil's trap is broken. He was still chained.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get free?
Okay, so my occult opinion on this matter is that we know that certain demons are strong enough to walk out of different kinds of traps. I think that Alastair was just being restrained, maybe just barely, because he's incredibly powerful, by the 3 traps working together in tandem as one spell. And once you break a piece of that spell, you effectively break the whole spell, and then he could just walk out.
Yeah, but he was still had literal chains holding him down.
He's a demon, bro. He's not even a little demon. He's a very powerful demon that Sam struggles with, and Sam doesn't struggle with Lilith. So like, it
I
shouldn't.
still call it a flag.
No.
Yes.
No. You're wrong.
So,
Bro, the chains aren't even like seriously restraining chains.
what was the point of having
They're
all
spelled
3?
chains.
Well, all 3 layers of the trap if only one of them was actually working?
But
They might as well have just put him in a chair in the devil's trap.
because you're thinking about it literally, like you're thinking about it like 3 sets of ropes, and he broke out of one set of rope, and you're like, how is he still not tied down? It doesn't make any sense. Instead of thinking about it like mythically, where it's all a connected thing, and once one thing is broken, he's strong enough to break the rest of it easily. It's
Okay,
supposed
we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Okay. Fine.
Oh, the next bit, Joy. This is gonna make you laugh. So, all right. Alistair then tells Dean he should talk to a plumber about the pipes, and this reminded me of Dean saying about clearing his pipes in No Exit.
With Joe. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we come back into the scene, Alastair's wailing on Dean. And Dean's face is basically a bloody mess.
Oh, poor Dean.
And then Alastair is saying, "You've got a lot to learn, boy. I'll see you back in class bright and early Monday morning." And he's pinning Dean against the Star of David, which is interesting because the Star of David is also referred to as the shield of God. And we know that Dean is being referred to as the righteous man in this
Mm.
instance. So it is beautiful symbolism. And then we have Anna saying that he's the only one who can save them, next to a symbol that is literally the symbol of a shield and a protector. So
Yeah.
it's really well set up and really well thought out. And it looks really beautiful too. Um so then Cass comes in all fierce guardian angel with the stabby stabby. And it looks like Cass is going to kill Alistair for a minute, and then the tables suddenly turn. They have a fist fight, and Alistair starts getting the better of Castiel. He grabs him and stabs him onto this hook on the wall.
Ugh, that was
Um,
horrible.
yeah, and he starts sending him back to heaven, kind of like an angel exorcism, but not exactly. I couldn't think of a better
That's what I
word.
called it as well, an angel
Yeah,
exorcism. Because it's like, but instead of demon dust, it's the same as the demon exorcisms where the demon dust comes out of them, but it's like the blue light.
yeah. Um, but then I was like, well, I guess he technically is possessing the body of a faithful man. So he's technically a
Yeah.
possessing spirit.
Hmm.
Um, so he starts to glow. And it's kind of cool because we're reminded in this moment that Castiel is the blue light, not the face that we see. And
Yeah.
so he's like burning through this human vessel. It looks like he's about to burn his face off, which is really, really scary. And then Sam comes in all talk to the hand because he literally walks into the room with his hand out and his I'm hot shit face on. Um,
Yeah. He's
and
hot.
I did take a photo of the talk to the hand scene and put it in my notes because it's literally like talk to the hand. Um, if you're too young to understand that reference, Google it. So I said, I mean, say what you will about Sam, he did just save the day. I suppose he's probably got MVP of the episode. So he gets Alastair to say, because he has all this power. He's kind of crushing Alastair with his power.
Hmm.
And he has him say that it's not Lilith killing the angels, because if Lilith was doing it, she wouldn't kill 7, she'd kill 100 or 100,000. Um, and then there's this really spooky moment where Alastair says, "Send me back if you think you can." And Sam
Yeah.
says, "I'm stronger than that now. Now I can kill." And then you see him crush Alastair,
Yeah.
like he's a god. Like he smites him basically.
Yeah, because I've written down, Cass gives Sam a look like, what? After he says that. And
Yeah,
then Sam, our sweet, innocent baby angel Sam, or at least that's what he
Vampire
used to be,
Sam.
straight up kills Alistair, and the effects are like the cult effects. They were cool and hot.
Yeah, it is really, really cool.
And then Sam looks at Cass, who's like shooketh, and then we cut to the hospital.
Yep.
But yeah, his powers, because before he was really straining to it just exercise people, and now he can just straight up kill them. So
Yeah.
he's definitely stronger,
Mhm.
and it's kind of scary, but also interesting to see where it's going.
Yeah.
And he's hot.
Yeah.
Yes. Then we cut to the hospital. And Dean is hooked up to machines and is in a bad way, and Sam's beside him. Cass comes by, and Sam goes outside to demand that he heals Dean because it's the angel's fault that he's there in the first place, because they couldn't keep a simple devil strapped together. And Cass says he doesn't know what happened, but he's sorry. So Sam says that the whole thing is pointless anyway because the demons aren't the ones that are killing the angels anyway. And Cass says, well, maybe Alistair was lying. And Sam says, no, he wasn't, and walks off back into Dean's room, leaving Cass looking pretty confused, although you can't really tell with Cass.
It is hard to tell with cats, although the looks before they start talking to each other are hilarious. Because they're both looking really accusingly at one another. Like Sam is accusing Cass silently of fucking up and letting Dean get hurt. And
Yeah.
Cass is looking at Sam like, I see you in your demonic bullshit, you know? Like he's definitely judging him. But at the same time, he also knows that Sam saved Dean, so he can't really talk shit
Mm.
about Sam in this moment in time because he's just fucked up so bad.
Yeah.
So it is so funny because they basically just give each other stink eye for a good like 2 minutes before Sam is like, "Come out with me into the hall" or whatever. And it's so funny. It's so funny, that part.
Yeah.
And then when um Cass and Uriel meet again.
They're sitting
Uriel
on their favourite bench.
sitting on their favorite bench. Uriel acts all shocked and sad and says that the angels above him told him to stop hunting whoever is killing the angels, which is super convenient for him because he's the murderer.
Because it's him.
So, yeah. Castiel and Uriel have this conversation where Cass says that maybe the garrison is being punished and maybe God isn't even in charge anymore, where he doesn't know what's happening. Maybe there's some kind of corruption in heaven and God isn't actually the one giving the orders, is like the implication. And Uriel says that he's not going to wait around to be gutted and then disappears. And I was like, we get another
So,
great
whoosh, whoosh,
shot
whoosh,
of
whoosh, whoosh.
Cass looking, yeah, really small and isolated and alone in the frame with lots of metalwork around him. In this case, it's the kids' playground. And the forced perspective of this shot makes him look really small and alone. And he looks really caged in again. And this also continues this weird forever motif now that for some reason angels meet up on kids' play parks.
Yeah, I was going to say they're either always meeting on a bench in a play park, or it's the same one from the beginning, which is that town that they were trying to completely wipe off the map.
Yeah.
And they always go there. It's like their safe place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. There's always a park in the background.
Hmm.
So then Cass goes to find Anna and
Mm-hmm.
tells her he's considering disobedience. And she says, good. And he says, no, it isn't. And he says, for the first time, I feel.
Yeah.
And Anna says it gets worse and tells him that choosing his own course of action is confusing and terrifying. And then she reaches out to touch his chest, but he looks away, causing her to get all butthurt and says, oh yeah, you're too good for my help, and walks away. That was my interpretation of it anyway.
I mean, he is being a giant hypocrite. Like, you can kind of understand that it's not. Because my interpretation of this scene was similar but slightly different, where, like, Anna kind of looks at him like he's leaving a cult, right? Like, the whole
Yeah.
angels following orders, never questioning, like, is very cult like, okay? And then he's just starting to think for himself. And so she refuses to do his thinking for him, which is the right thing to do, I think, for Cass. But also, she does get angry at him and stands up for herself because he acts like
Yeah.
she's this blasphemous piece of shit under his heel. And then he has the nerve to go back to her and be like, I think you should tell me what to do, maybe.
Yeah,
And
tell him
she's
what to
like,
do.
fuck off.
Yeah, I did like that bit when because that's when she walks off the first time. That was when I said she was butthurt. But then Cass like calls her back and says he doesn't know what to do and asks her what you should do, and she's just like, "I'm not
Yeah.
your boss anymore, bitch. Time to think for yourself," kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she flies off. And
Yeah.
but I did write, poor Cass isn't really getting anywhere, is he? Everyone he tries to talk to is getting annoyed with him and storming off.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not having a good day.
He's like Sam, then Uriel, now Hannah.
Yeah. Everyone is mad at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes back to the building and he's
Yeah.
clearly investigating. He's clearly questioning. Because he saw this same kind of like pipe work at the place where he met Anna, and it gives him this idea. Why are you laughing?
Because I've just remembered what I've written in my notes about Cass. So, because he's being all investigative, he's being like a detective,
Yeah.
and with his trench coat. Do you know who he reminds me of?
I have one idea, but I don't think it's going to be the right one because I'm not sure that was over here.
He reminds me of Inspector Gadget.
That was what I was going to be like, doo-doo-doo-doo, Inspector Gadget. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
I loved Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't know if it
Cass.
came out in England.
Yeah, it did.
That's amazing. Yeah. So he starts examining the pipe work and he realizes that there definitely was something that wasn't quite right. And we see him start to put two and two together. He realizes exactly how Alastair escaped and he begins to be suspicious. And then Uriel
Hmm.
appears from nowhere and starts giving his villain monologue and asking Castiel to join him.
Yeah, there was a section in here where Cass is saying that they're brothers and asks him to tell the truth, and Uriel says that the only thing that can kill an angel is another angel, and gets a big knife out of his sleeve. And that's what I was like, ooh, he's the bad guy. And
Yeah.
then yeah, he said the plan was for Alastair to kill Dean and then escape, and then Cass would keep blaming the demons for the angel deaths.
Mm.
So he's basically starting an angel rebellion and is trying to recruit angels. And then if they say no, he's killing them. And his motives are, from what I can tell, that he hates humans and thinks that God stopped being their father when he created humans, and he loves Lucifer.
So then Uriel basically says that he regretted his decision to bow to humanity. And this is actually really biblically accurate because one of the reasons why Lucifer fell, like I said earlier on in the episode, if not the main reason, is that when God created humanity, Lucifer saw basically all of our flaws. And in his mind, he was the perfect creation. And so he refuses to bow to something imperfect. And he and God then get into an argument, and God casts him down because he says that Lucifer's being prideful, right? His sin is pride, and so he falls. And
Mhm.
Uriel did what his father told him to do and did bow down to humanity and has apparently hated every single minute of it ever since.
Yeah, he hates humans.
For however many thousands of years, it's implied really heavily in this episode that most of the angels have been performing tasks and assignments on Earth this entire time, that they're not very often in heaven, and they're very, very far away from home a lot. They seem lonely, isolated. They're acting like soldiers who've been sent to war. And many of them haven't recently or ever seen or spoken to God either.
No.
So it gives us this real sense of like who's really in charge and what's really happening in heaven.
Oh, I did also have a note to say that during this conversation, Cass turns his back on Uriel, and in my notes I was like, why would Cass turn his back on Uriel when he's just got a knife, angel killing knife out?
It's a good
He
question.
literally turns
It's
his back to
called
him.
an angel blade.
Ah,
They haven't
cool.
told us that yet, but I'm just telling you so you know.
Also, I also had a question. So, if Uriel is the one doing all of this, trying to save Lucifer, are all the other seals were him as well, or was that still Lilith? Was
Well,
it just
that's
this one?
that's a mixture because we know from this episode that Dean broke the first seal, and then Lilith and the
Yeah.
demon started trying to break the other seals. And then
So he's like helping.
presumably Uriel realized that hell had this chance and Lucifer had a chance to come back. And he now wants to side with his brother, not
Yeah,
his
yeah,
father.
yeah. Okay, so he's like helping Lilith basically, or they're
Yeah.
all kind of just doing it together. Okay. So then Uriel tells Cass that other angels have already joined him and asks Cass to join him too, rather than fighting him and to
Mhm.
help bring on the apocalypse. But Cass punches him through a wall, and then we get an angel fight.
Yeah. I just basically said that it gets to a point where because initially we think that Cass is winning because he starts out so strong and he
Yeah,
slams Uriel through an entire wall, and it's amazing. It's like a thirst trap. But then slowly, as the fight progresses, Uriel starts to get the upper hand, and it gets to the point where it looks like Uriel is literally about to kill Cass in front of us. Like
yeah,
Cass looks all fucked up, and we don't think he has a chance. And then suddenly from behind, we see a knife plunge into Uriel's neck. And then there's Anna. And right before this moment, he'd said, "There's no God." And Anna says, "Maybe not, but there's me."
yeah. And she kind of whispers it to him. It's really
Yeah, it's really
badass.
menacing and badass. And that is the best scene that has ever been a scene, ever. I love it so much.
Yeah,
Um, then we see Cass looking at Anna, and and the camera kind of looks back from above. So we see Uriel on the ground with these huge burned out wing prints again. And he
yeah.
looks really small because it's panned out super far.
Because the wings
Um,
are huge, aren't they?
they're absolutely huge. And I think it's supposed to symbolize his fall from grace and his
Yeah.
villainy.
So then we cut back to the hospital, and Dean is awake, and Cass asks if he's all right, and he says, "No, thanks to you." And Cass tells Dean he needs to be more careful, and Dean tells Cass he needs to learn to manage a devil's trap. Touche. Um,
And Cass's face is like, "What?"
he's like, "Your brother already told me off for that. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
um, Cass then tells Dean about Uriel, and Dean asks Cass if it's true that he broke the first seal, which he confirms that it is. And apparently, when the angels found out about it, they had tried to get to Dean before it happened, but they were too late. And Dean starts to get upset because he doesn't believe he's special and asks Cass why he didn't just leave him there then. And Cass tells Dean it's not his fault, it's fate, and repeats his version of what Alastair said earlier. So he says that the righteous man who begins it is the only one who can finish it, and tells Dean that he has to stop it. And Dean's like, Lucifer? The apocalypse? What does that mean? And he's basically crying
Mm.
now.
Yeah.
And then he gets angry when Cass says he doesn't know. And Cass says, Dean, they don't tell me much. I know our fate rests with you. And Dean replies, and his voice is kind of breaking now because he's crying, and says, well, then you guys are screwed. And he says he can't do it because it's too big and he's not strong enough. He's been listening to Sam. And he then says, well, I guess I'm not the man either of our dads wanted me to be. I was like, Dean is so damaged with his daddy issues.
Your heart just breaks into so many
Yeah.
tiny pieces when he says that line. Because he
And
feels like he's disappointed God and also
yeah,
his
and
dad.
John. Bloody John.
That's the worst feeling in the world for anyone, but for Dean Winchester,
Yeah.
whew,
Mwah.
it just absolutely breaks you watching
It
him
does.
say it.
And he tells Cass to find someone else as it's not him, and he's just crying, and that's the end of the episode. And I wrote at the end, Dean needs some affirmations, so repeat after me, Dean. I am worthy. I am strong.
Amazing.
But yeah, poor Dean. I felt really bad for him at the end because he's gone through a lot, and Sam's
Yeah.
being like, I don't know, being a vampire.
Sam's being a vampire.
Telling his brother he's not strong. Well, I was probably not saying that to his face, in fairness, but
Sam's turned into Damien.
yeah, he's being hot, but I don't
Yeah.
I can tell how I'm going to be. I don't really like Sam. I'm not going to like him at some point, but
Yeah.
I'll still think he's hot.
Yeah. So the things that I think match up to the biblical lore are there's a point in the book of Revelation where you get to this kind of war almost between heaven and earth, really. So basically at the beginning of Revelations, Christ reveals this scroll, right? And on the scroll there were 7 seals from the right hand of God. And in Revelation 6, he breaks open the seals, and the first 6 seals bring down judgment on earth. This article goes on to say that apocalypse means unveiling, the revealing of things that we cannot see with our physical eyes. So it's actually like a spiritual reference.
That's interesting.
So then you hear these cataclysmic trumpets, and that is a judgment on the earth. And then judgments are sent to the people of the earth. And one of the things that's in there is physical affliction by demonic oppression, and then death, which is what we've been seeing happening more and more in the episodes. We've been seeing more and more oppression, possession, people dying from it. So it's getting scarier and more ramped up. And then a third of the human race is slaughtered in a war that seems demonically incited by this army of 200 million strange supernatural warriors. So it really is setting up this like army of hell, basically. And then that brings on the rising of the Antichrist, more or less. So that's a bit of a summation of it, but that's what I think the show is sort of mirroring.
I like all the links then to the actual what's happening in the Bible, so it's kind of accurate to the episodes.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting how Alastair was trying to scare Dean by saying that he was the one who broke the first seal.
Yeah.
But he obviously didn't say that whole thing, because then what Cass said is kind of the ending, so that the righteous man, he might have started it, but he's also the one that's going to end it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really, really interesting. And it also shows why it's worth it to send an entire army of angels to retrieve Dean. And then there's that one part as well where Alastair says to Dean, "Didn't you ever wonder why Lilith wanted you in hell so badly?"
Yeah.
In the lead up to things. So it's just like Dean is such a key pivotal player. And it's interesting because at this point in the story, it really feels like Dean is the main character and not Sam.
Yeah, but we've always thought that anyway. We've had this
Yeah.
conversation, haven't we, that Dean's always been the main character to us.
Yeah.
But we've said it's probably because we're older siblings.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting how they said that it was originally going to be John. So John was going to be the righteous man, but he wouldn't break.
Yeah.
And I wonder what
He
would have
was too
happened if
righteous.
he. I wonder what would have happened if it had been, because then does that mean John would have come back to life? Would we
Oh,
have got more
maybe.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Maybe. That would have been a really interesting storyline. Because, like,
Yeah,
originally they were planning on having him on for like the show, weren't they? And then he got the offer for Grey's Anatomy, and he ended up going.
yeah, I miss him.
So I wonder if, like, originally it really was supposed to be John, and then they had to change it to Dean. I don't know. It would be. I'm
No, I
trying to
reckon
imagine that story arc.
no. I don't think it was. I think they were probably just because it was Sam and Dean are like the main characters, and having them kind of face off against each other would be interesting. But maybe it was just how, because they'd said about, oh, it was supposed to be John. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
Like John
I
was
think
supposed to be the righteous
I
man.
think it would have been a lot because he would have been at cross purposes with his kids, theoretically.
Yeah,
Um, at least temporarily. And John is so stubborn too, so that if he was doing some of it thinking that he was doing the right thing as well, that could be really interesting. Um, obviously, I'm glad the storyline is what the storyline actually is, but
yeah,
sometimes it's fun to think about like alternate little worlds where things went differently.
yeah. So yeah, lots of. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season's going to go, because I've got lots of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, I bet.
Well, just
So
stuff
many.
about Sam. Really, what's going on?
I just
Um,
remember this part of this season. The whole time I was watching it for the first time, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like every
yeah,
episode.
yeah. So I'm assuming he's going to be going down a darker path,
I mean, he's a
which will be really
vampire now,
interesting.
a
He's
demon
a vampire
pyre.
now.
Yeah.
A Dean pyre, actually.
That makes it sound like he sucks Dean's blood.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you got anything else to say, or do you want to do games?
Let's go for games.
Villain hot or not? I mean, there's so many villains.
Yeah, which villain are we talking
Well, I
about?
suppose
Alastair?
Uriel
No.
and Alastair are the main ones. I'm not
Uriel?
for both of them.
No. Ruby? Yes. Dean, when
Cass,
Dean's being kind of villainy, yes.
yeah, I was gonna
Cass?
say Dean
Yes.
and Sam are both bad boys, and they were both hot.
Everyone's being a bad boy in this episode.
Cass isn't
Yes to
really.
all of the above.
Cass isn't a villain in this episode, but he was hot.
Yeah.
Scare rating.
4.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's the torture scene, but it's Alastair, so my emotions are not really like, I'm like, yay, woo! Watching Dean go dark side, I'm also like, yay, woo! So, like, I'm the wrong person to find this episode scary.
You see, I gave it a 7.5 because the torture scenes were scary. Alistair's scary.
Yeah.
Uriel's death was scary, even though that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's being bad.
Yeah. If I had more of a heart, I would have given it a higher scare rating, but I have a black heart. And it didn't scare me. It mostly just was exciting and thirst trappy for me.
Now, for a favourite quote, I've literally only written one down, which never happens. Are you proud of
Oh
me?
my god.
It was only one. It could have only been one, and that was Cass saying, "Uriel's the funniest angel in the garrison. Ask anyone."
Mine is Anna saying, maybe not, but there's me.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was
You went
so
for
badass. It was immediately my favorite quote.
cool. I always
I
go
went
for
for
funny.
cool. Yeah. Funny is great. Funny is beyond great. If I was gonna go for funny, it would be Dean telling Uriel to go get donuts.
Oh yeah.
um,
What's your thirst trap?
Evil Dean.
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, if it was Dean, that's what I would have had. But I had Sam killing Alistair, and the bit that I said about Cass near the start when he's telling Dean that he has to torture Alistair,
I
and he
mean, to
kind of
be
storms
fair,
over to him.
I had thirst traps for all of those were written down as thirst traps. Cass was the thirst trap. Sam was the thirst trap. Dean was the thirst trap. Thirst traps all over the place, Laura. You can't go anywhere without being trapped by the thirst.
Yeah. And then MVP. See, I've put it's either Sam or Anna, but it's because they killed the two villains. But
Yeah.
Sam's also being evil, so I think Anna should have it.
Yeah. I wrote Anna because she stops Uriel, which saves Cass.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then second place to Sam for killing Alastair.
Yeah, so he does save Dean. That's important, but
it's very important.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to give it to Anna because she's cool.
She's so cool.
And then there wasn't a motel. Well, no, there was a motel.
There is a motel.
But it was the same one from last time, question mark. We think.
Okay. I gave it 5 stars because it was nice and dark and spooky. There were Western style blankets, which I thought was odd at the time, but I still really liked it. And then I realized belatedly that it was like a cowboy theme, I think. So yeah, it was good. I would stay there.
Yeah, I would say that too. I like it.
I keep yawning on the episodes. You can hear me yawn. And it's because we just hit the point in the year where it's getting so dark so early. And my brain thinks that it's like 11 o'clock at night. And it's not. Like, we do record late sometimes because Laura and I talk for days and months before we start recording. But, like, it's not that late. But I keep doing it.
Not too late, no. Yeah, so I can't even remember what the next one is. I did look it up, but I've forgotten. But I know it was excited. So that's not helpful to anyone listening. No. But that's where we are.
Which is at an unknown location. Let me look real quick. It's a Terrible Life is the next one. I assume it says It's a Terrible Life Dean Winchester, or It's a Terrible Life Sam Winchester, because it's obviously a play on It's a Wonderful Life. It's an alternate reality episode.
Oh yeah, I remember it says something about they've got different names. They're still called Sam and Dean, but they've got different surnames, so I don't think they're brothers.
Yeah, they're not related in this little alternate reality. Cool. I don't remember the episode very well. So it's going to be like it's going to be a revelation to me, because I can't sit here and be like, I remember what happens in that episode. I don't really remember it, I don't think. So it's either been lost to one of the concussions or I didn't rewatch it a lot, and so I don't really remember it.
Yeah, which means it's probably not good. I feel like it's either going to be one of those episodes like Mystery Spot where it's so weird and out there that it's memorable and it's going to be fun. Or it's going to be so far away from like the main storyline that we're going to be like, what's the point?
Why are we here? Yeah. The one after that, though,
filler episodes.
The one after the next episode is huge.
Okay. Cool.
Huge. Big.
And we must be coming up to the end of the season soon. How many episodes are there left?
1, 2,
Is this like 16 or something?
5. So if we include the next one, it's 6 episodes are left in this season.
Yeah, so we're gonna get we'll get some more main storylines soon as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like the end of the season's going to be good because it's obviously leading up to these seals are going to get broken. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's going to be an enormous finale. Like, I feel like this one is on par with the season 1 finale. It's cool. A really, really big deal, or at least that's how I remember it being for me. So it'll be really interesting to see your reaction to the finale.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, shall we end the episode there?
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at The Witches of Letters Podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.